You guys, we had a feeling that January was messing with people's heads a little. So instead of guessing, instead of teaching, instead of telling anyone what to do, we sent out a simple text, asked a question. The response was actually overwhelming. So thank you all so much for participating. So, the text was just asking salon owners just to do a quick little um, interview with us just so we could learn more about, hey, what's going on in the world. So we called 5 salons. They're different sizes, different cities, different vibes. That was so exciting. And we asked them all one simple thing: what does January actually feel like right now? Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can hear is not advice. It's, oh, it's not just me. Oh, isn't that so good to hear that? Oh, it's not just me. Is that today we're just going to listen together and really uncover some things.
Yes, this was so fun, Jen, like you mentioned, it was so overwhelming and exciting to see how many people were excited to participate in this, and, to hear the answer. So we asked 3 simple questions, the exact same ones to all the salon owners. We're not gonna play them all, but we do have a few from each question that we're gonna play. It is just so fun to see. So let's dive in. The first question that we asked was, if you had to describe January in your salon in one word or sentence, what would it be? And so here's a couple of the responses that we got.
Good but tight. From the outside, things look good. We're busy. The team's solid. Clients are coming in, but January always makes me feel how tight everything is. Mm, Good but tight.
It kept going to play. I wanted to say good but tight again, good but tight again.
Who's excited?
It was. Awesome. And then here's the next one.
January started normal for us, and then it wasn't. We had someone leave suddenly. There was no long talks, no big warning. All of a sudden, just gone. Thank you. That happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so great to hear those. So one was good but tight. Another one, it sounds like, gosh, there was like somebody who suddenly left the team. And, I think what kind of stands out to me there is I think we've all maybe been in both of those situations before, especially like if you have a team member leave that is unexpected. I think I've had one leave in January in the past too. And I think it's great that that salon owner can say it so neutrally. And, I think the thing that stood out was that she didn't say that anything meant something was wrong. It doesn't, because I think it's easy in our minds to jump to so many conclusions about why people leave. Like, is it something, um, do I need to do more? Does this need to happen? Like you jump to all of these conclusions, no matter what they are. But sometimes it's just noticing it. Hey, I didn't see it coming, but here we are, and it doesn't always have to be an emotionally charged event when somebody leaves, which I think is a powerful place to lead from.
I love that you said that, Lindsay. You said, what was that last sentence? You said it doesn't have to be. Oh, it's so good. Do you remember
Well,
exactly the words that you used?
no, but
You were just you were
it
just
was.
talking about it, like, it really resonated with me because there are, like, we've all had it happen
Mhm,
where somebody leaves and we're like, "Oh my gosh, I had this big year planned, and now,
mhm.
like, 40% of my revenue could have walked out the door." And so I think it is really powerful when you, think about, like, how she mentioned that she's not gonna let it, ruin her year, just maybe a little
Mhm.
pivoting, and actually the year probably actually will even come out better. Isn't that a beautiful part of it too?
Mhm.
Life always gets to happen for us, not to us. So I love that. Awesome. All right. So, question number 2 is, what's the thought you've noticed yourself having that you know isn't helpful, but still shows up? So, let's see here. Got this right here. Okay.
Myself thinking, Did I build freedom or did I build a really nice cage? I love my salon. I love my people. I'm proud of what we built, but sometimes I think if I stop pushing, does it all stop? Well,
That's good. Here's another
Mhm.
response that we got.
Something wrong? Should I be posting more? Should I change something? Is this my fault? I know January does this every year. I know it always evens out, but that thought still shows up.
Yeah, that's another powerful one. And here's one more.
I probably say I should be further along right now. I should have more things done, completed. I should be further along. I compare myself to a lot of people on social media where they look like they're all put together and they're thriving and they're, doing all these big, huge wins. And I feel like I should be further along right now. That's not helpful.
Awesome,
Wow.
man. That was so good. I think um, she mentioned the word compare, and I hear that a lot with my team members too. Like they'll compare themselves to somebody else, or they'll compare themselves to someone on social media. And if you really understand the word compare, like it actually is just really viewing someone else and looking at where you're similar and where you're different. And so, like, yeah, nobody's made the same. Congratulations. I don't know if you know that, but we all have this beautiful gift to give to the world. And so, like, if you really understand that, hey, if I'm going to compare myself to like Lindsay, if I'm going to compare myself to Lindsay, I'm just going to look at, hey, where we're similar and then where are we different? And you know what? If she's different in an area that I really love and want to be better at, it just gives me the opportunity to embrace that and maybe ask her, like, how can I do better here? And so I just think words have so much power. And so I just wanted to share that because that is something very often, especially in the day and age of social media, where you see salon owners that are like, oh, we opened a second location. But what they don't usually show is there's still zero profit. Not all, but some. And so, like, I think we just have to use discernment to really be aware of, what we're viewing, first of all, and then what are the words that we're using? Do we really understand the words that we're using?
You said that so beautifully, Jen. And gosh, teaching your team how to use that discernment is such a powerful thing too, because just hearing all the salon owner reflections about the month of January, and obviously there's a wide variety of it, but I think sometimes, like, if you have the mindset that something, that January's slow, and you go to social media, you're going to naturally be drawn to other people who are saying January is slow, but if you don't have that mindset, if you flip that on its head and you start looking for other people who are looking to create momentum in January, you'll find a whole new, I would say, actually a limited supply of people who see it that way. But I think it's powerful, and I think it's a great thing to be aware of, to use that tool of discernment with what are you consuming during that downtime. So good. Let's dive into question number 3, which is, what's one thing you're choosing not to change or panic about this year?
That's a great question. My first thought was to tighten everything, change policies, start having meetings, really clamp down, take more control so I wouldn't let this happen again. But I'm not letting one person's choice turn me into the owner I don't recognize.
Awesome. Thanks. I got so excited. I started playing the next one too. You can see Jen and I are great at like working this technology. It was, we're just killing it out there today, you guys. I'm sure you could relate. Maybe you've had this challenge before, but that was great.
In past years, when I felt this way, I'd start questioning people. Who's committed? Who's not? This year, I'm not making big decisions from a tired place. I'm focusing on getting myself steady again.
That's great. We've got one more.
Said this to the team quite a bit. Client volume in our slower seasons. I've been doing this for almost 30 years and it still catches me off guard. I don't understand why, but there's just natural ebbs and flows, and I tell the team that all the time. So I'm choosing not to panic this year. in those ebbs and flows.
So good. Yeah, I think what stands out, there are so many things that stand out. I think first of all, our language is really powerful. And so on that first little clip, I loved her awareness to that she used to clamp down, I think were the actual words that she used. And just to think about, hey, anytime we are trying to make change, I think it's really important to be intentional about how you want that change to land because there's two different types of leadership. There's force leadership, and then there's leadership from a place of power. So power just means the ability to do something effortlessly. I think I added a little bit to that, but the ability to do something with ease, and so when you're in a place of power, you don't have to force somebody to do something. You're not going to clamp down. You're not going to, push somebody to sell retail or make somebody, do something else on your team. And so I love that she had that realization that she wasn't going to clamp down, and she was going to put that to rest in 2026.
That was so, so good. Um, you know, I think about, okay, what's consistent here?
Mhm.
And it tells me a lot about salon owners, team-based salon owners, that no one as we connected with them said that, hey, we're failing. I'm thinking of second guessing myself, or I might close the doors. Everyone just mentioned mental noise, you guys. Several said they were like staying the course, but nobody talked about blowing things up. And at the end of the day, that truly is leadership. It's not because it's flashy, it's not because it's loud, but because it's actually grounded.
Yeah. And truly, Jen, this is like why we believe January isn't for doing more. It's it's truly meant for deciding what not to react to. And honestly, this is where having structure really matters. You know, not to add pressure, but truly to remove it. So instead of waking up every day wondering what to fix next, you already know this is what this month is for. And that's why we use the Salon Success Calendar. It gives January a job. I know we were talking earlier about one of the main reasons we had scalp focus in the diagnosis step as a focus for January is because it can be a little bit of a quieter season. And so it's such a great time to get really intentional with your team about what truly creates transformation for a guest and how do we introduce that and how do we help them start to see themselves as beauty pros and not just somebody who's there to do hair or skin, or whatever the service might be, to really make people experience that transformation when they're with us.
So true. And shout out to the people who got early access to that. I've seen you and your scalp cameras on Instagram. So that has been so exciting to see.
Mhm.
So just want to say congratulations. So if January has felt, you guys, a little quieter than expected, like we truly hope this episode reminded you of something important, that you're not behind. You're not doing it wrong. You're just in the part of the year that asks you to lead, not react. And we'll be right here with you as that momentum builds.